Hi, my name is Chelsea Saylor, and I'm a student at the University of Louisville School of Kent Social Work Program. Today I'm going to be talking about the long term care aspect of Medicaid and eligibility for our elders. According to the CDC in 2015, over 1.3 million residents of our country were in some form of nursing home care, whether that be skilled or long term. As baby boomers continue to age and are living longer lives than previous generations, it is important to keep in mind that this number is going to continue to increase. According to genwork.com, an article on aging and financing, in the state of Kentucky, the average cost of a semi private room is $905. When applying for Medicaid, which many individuals essentially have to, once they have depleted their assets, Medicaid requires that there be a $2,000 resource limit. This includes bank accounts, checking, savings, CDs. Another aspect of this, which is my argument, is that the cash surrender value, which is of a wholesale life insurance policy, is also used as counting as a resource. This is used because a loan can be taken out against it, whereas a home is not used even though a loan can be taken out. This whole life insurance policy, the cash surrender value is accounted as a resource, thus putting many people over the income limit. The problem with that is this is not money that is freely accessible. Although they can take loans against it, for many people, they know they are near death, or their families know that death is in the near future. This is to ensure that they have burial coverage, that their family's not screaming around to make sure that they have a proper funeral. In order to use their life insurance policy, it is essential that they have to ultimately get it transferred over to a funeral home. Up to $1,500 of the expense can be counted as a burial exclusion per Medicaid guidelines. This has to be made out directly to the funeral home, and they have to receive the life insurance policy in order for it not to count as a resource. This is very troubling for a lot of people because the paperwork is very difficult. Getting in contact with the life insurance policy providers can be difficult, and it's a long process, which leaves many people without coverage that the families then have to make up out of resources that have been depleted for their care up to that point. The money can be used for prearranged funeral services and burial plots, but it has to be done so through the funeral home. It cannot be arrangements that have been made on someone's own accord or even written in a will. The major issue is that Medicaid counts this as a resource, but they do not give a deduction for keeping the resource in force, as Medicaid calls it. This is important because for many people and their families, this is a time of their life that, one, they shouldn't have to worry about things about how they're going to be buried or when they're going to be buried, especially if they've worked their whole lives to pay into this life insurance policy. It makes families lose comfort. They feel like when their loved one passes away that there's going to be no answer. We need to be more mindful and more considerate of these life insurance policies and the resources. Signed affidavits are required, and the beneficiary that in its entire policy must promise to use the funeral for all of the money. Thus, it means a funeral may cost $1,200, but the life insurance policy is for $2,500. They essentially have to make up $1,000 worth of benefits throughout the funeral to make up that $1,000, leaving many families with extra bills after their loved ones pass. I think it's critical that our Medicaid and our legislators look at this to see that this isn't a resource, that people have worked their whole lives for this. And this isn't a time that they need to stress and worry about how they're going to be buried.